Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the co-feature on closing day Monday at Saratoga is the Grade 2 Bernard Baruch Handicap. You can play this race. You can play the closing day card with a DRF Bets account and 10 times the sign-up bonus that goes along with it. Sign up at drf.com/bet. Here are the field of turf horses getting set to go a mile and a 16th on the Mellon Turf Course for $250,000. Let's take them in post position order. We'll begin with the number 1, Voodoo Song. Mikey's the new king of Saratoga. A perfect 5 for 5 at the Spa, and about 3 weeks ago he wired him in the Grade 1 4-star Dave. He looks as loose as can be yet again.
Yeah, a fitting winner for that 4-star Dave, to be sure, for a horse who just loves Saratoga. 5 for 5 now. Listen, I don't know what to say about it, Dan. He ran great last time. I know that was a little bit of an off-turf course, but this horse went a fast pace in that race to open up on that field. He put away the chasers around the turn, and he held off the closers at the end. It was a really nice performance for this horse, and you're right. I mean, there's just no other speed in this race. He's going to be very, very tough to run down in this race. 3
consecutive triple-digit buyers coming into this race, whether it's a wet turf course or a firm turf course. He fires, it seems, every single time. Timeform US agrees with our assessment of the pace. They've got the number 1 Voodoo Song in this short field on the lead, and he should be going a relatively fair pace. Projected is the number 2. He's one of 3 horses coming out of the Lure. Now, Inspector Lindley won the Lure, but I think you could make an argument that Inspector Lindley ran the 3rd best race that day. Projected was sort of down inside, and when Javier tried to get him out on the turn, he was kind of boxed in, and was boxed in from the quarter pole all the way into mid-stretch. By the time he got clear, Inspector Lindley was in full flight. I thought all in all Projected ran well for Chad Brown, but that's kind of projected. Doesn't he seem to find trouble once in a while?
I mean, that's the real problem with him. You're right, because he did have trouble last time, and it's not like in his race 2 starts back in the Forbidden Apple, they didn't have a little bit of an excuse there, too, because Voodoo Song was just walking on a relatively rated pace that day, and he couldn't catch him in the stretch. So he's run well in his last 2 starts. But it's just one of those horses where you get tired of making excuses for him. He's 3 for 18 on turf with 9 seconds. He seems to finish right where he wants to finish.
While Forge finished 4th behind Inspector Lindley and Projected in the Lure, that race was dominated by closers, and Forge was up close to the pace. He made an early move to the lead on the far turn, took over entering the stretch, and then just got tired late. Do you think he was a victim of pace dynamics in that race? The problem with that scenario is, isn't he in chase mode this time around? And that seems like a tall order, reeling in Voodoo Song and then holding off the closers.
Yeah, the trip could have worked against him last time, but he's in a really tough spot here, where he feels like he's going to have to chase Voodoo Song on the lead, and that might not work for him. This horse is pretty good. You know, it's interesting. I feel like Chad's horse, Projected, might be a little bit better than him, but I don't know if it's by that much. This horse is actually okay. He's got a chance in this race.
I think Synchrony would have a chance in this race, but it really looks like he's going to run as a heavy favorite at Monmouth on Saturday in the Red Bank Stakes. Trainer Michael Stidham says he'll only run in the Bernard Baruch if they're either off the turf, obviously, on Saturday, or if the turf course is very soft. He probably runs at Monmouth. If he runs here, I think he has a chance because he always seems to fire.
I agree with that. I mean, I think if they decide to run here, he actually has a chance to win this race. The problem is he stands out in the other race, and he's probably just going to win that one, so he'll probably run there. But he's not over his head if they decide to run in this race.
Inspector Lindley is 2 for 2 at Saratoga, both wins coming in stakes, although he got the right setup last time out in the Lure. Again, a race that went to closers. This time out in a short field, unless someone unexpectedly goes after Voodoo Song, he's going to have a completely different situation.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he ran well last time. I think you're right, though, that this race may be a little bit tougher for him. We'll see what happens, though. The thing with Inspector Lindley is he's actually a really good horse. You know, his overall record at 4 for 18 doesn't suggest that, but this is a horse who's had a lot of trips, a lot of dynamics working against him, and he's run well in a lot of those races. He finally got things to go in his favor last time, and he did what he had to do, but make no mistake about it, this horse can run. He's a good horse.
Completing the field is Kieran McLaughlin's Shadwell-owned Courdan. This horse is a multiple listed winner in France, so he's kept good company. He's Group 3 placed over there, and he's obviously getting the Magic Lasix for the first time. But this seems like a tall order for a horse that hasn't run in, 11 months?
Yeah, we'll see what happens. He is stepping into a really tough spot off the layup, especially when you consider he's a maiden on the grass. All of his good races are on synthetic over there. It just feels like he's going to find this field a little bit too tough for him, but I won't be surprised to see him run a good race here and then maybe come forward.
Let's take a look at our top selection for the Grade 2 Bernard Baruch on closing day Sunday. We both think pace makes the race. We both think this horse is a horse for course. Voodoo Song might be long gone on the lead, albeit at a very short price.
Yeah, I mean, I just couldn't go against him in this race, Dan. He's been too good lately, and there's nobody to go with him on the pace.
Voodoo Song, the horse to catch and beat in the Grade 2 Bernard Baruch Handicap, a race you can play with a DRF Bets account. Sign up at drf.com/bet and get 10 times the bonus. Bet 20, get 200. Approximate post time for the Bernard Baruch, 5:02 Eastern on Labor Day Monday at Saratoga. Best of luck.